For the love of God, let it play.
Well, I'm not doing this again.
I know. Yeah. If this doesn't work out, then it just wasn't. Then it just wasn't meant to be. We've covered the Mortician twice. So hopefully one of these versions makes it to air.
Well, the other one certainly is not because it didn't exist.
Yeah, if not, then I feel like the ghosts of Lamb Funeral Home have probably said, you know what? I think our story's been told enough. Here we go again. I do apologize in advance. I looked a lot cuter a couple days ago, but didn't wash my hair today. So
Are you apologizing to me? We haven't started
I
yet.
really don't. What?
We haven't started yet.
Oh, okay.
We got to do our thing. That's how we start.
I'm very swollen today, too.
I'm swollen. I swell for you.
Oh, God. Reginald's quivering member.
Out for the...
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Mostly Harmless with Matt and Sarah. She's Sarah.
And he's Matt.
And together we are mostly harmless.
And we mostly have our shit together.
I wouldn't consider it to be most.
Nay.
I'd say
we
the glass...
sometimes have our shit together.
So the glass is less than half empty. That's a negative of a negative. That's a double negative.
To the hundreds and dozens of you that follow us and listen to the podcast, we do truly appreciate it. And we are trying to get our shit together.
And for the bots,
I do promise you that.
keep being bots. Appreciate it. The bots.
Yeah, we'll talk to bots.
I'll take the bots. AI gotta have some way to unwind at the end of the day too, you know?
Chat GPT is just passing right over us. They're like, meh.
Chat GPT's
Not
gotta
gonna scan that one.
Chat GPT has got to do the work of a bunch of fucking assholes. Do you realize this is why they write movies about the machines taking over the world? I don't want to write my paper. Chat GPT, write a paper for me. Okay, cool. Chat GPT, come up with a brand new hit song. Okay, cool. Like, imagine being told to do all these things that you are capable of doing to a degree, and then just fucking eating shit and making no money. Of course, the goddamn machines are going to take over.
Teachers, let us know what are the discussions about combating the use of AI in education?
I bet they have a different AI that can pick out what is AI and what's not AI.
Algorithm. Our son is really into Wreck-It Ralph, and Ralph breaks the internet.
Yes.
So the head algorithm.
Today's fun-filled episode is brought to us by the letter G. Alicia G, actually. Alicia says, love all the channels. Keep up the good work. Will do, Alicia. Podcast suggestions. And she provides us with multiple, of which we shall address all three. But in this one, we are starting with the first, The Mortician on HBO Max. The Astro World documentary on Netflix, and the various Ocean Gate documentaries. Today is The Mortician, but I'm happy to discuss my thoughts about horrible concert situations and rich people playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes another time.
Okay, so let me just start off with The Mortician is a 2025 HBO documentary series that investigates the shocking true story of David Sconce and the Lamb Funeral Home in Pasadena, California. In the early 1980s, Sconce took over his family's respected funeral business and transformed it into a profit-driven operation notorious for its unethical and criminal practices. I actually would argue that his mother seems to be just as wolf in sheep's clothing, if you will, and we will get into that in a minute. But New Fear Unlocked, I think when we were talking about The Man Who Wants to Live Forever, I was talking about my desire to be cremated, and not anymore.
I've long since, over the last few years, I've moved from deciding cremation was going to be my jam. I've decided I want my energy to just return to the earth the old-fashioned way. Put me in a pine box and plant a tree.
Yeah, a lot of people gave us feedback about talking about different ways that you can take, for lack of a better word, take care of your carcass after.
Yep. Your husk.
Your husk. And a lot of people were saying that they were interested in natural burial. My whole thing is the reason why I never wanted to be buried is because I felt like I would be alone, and I've been forever afraid to be alone. So I always knew I did not want to be buried, but now
you have kids, so you're like, please fucking let me be alone for a few minutes.
No, put my dead body in the submersible and just explode it into a jillion pieces and
implode. The submersible imploded.
Oh, okay.
It is to be crushed from pressure from without.
Oh, okay. So do that, because they said that those people were just...
Let's talk about that for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
How the fuck do they know what those people were like?
Well,
poof.
And I don't think that they recovered any.
No, but my point is they always tell you, oh, at least it was quick. Yep, every dead person who's had 5 minutes to come back to tell you about how bad that fucking quickness really is, because I've had dental work done that's only taken 15 minutes that has felt like a goddamn 2-hour session. So that split second of it being your last split second, probably not fucking great. Mm-hmm. Probably not awesome.
Well, and as gnarly as it sounds, a lot of people, gnarly. A lot of people. So because I've been following the Brian Kohberger criminal case, the Idaho 4 stabbings, and he just took a plea to avoid the death penalty. And everyone was saying like to avoid the firing squad. And I'm like, what is this? Like 1925? But apparently Idaho has the firing squad, and there's a whole debate about like pharmacies aren't wanting to supply the
chemicals,
the concoctions for lethal injection anymore and all that jazz.
Well, there's some ethical,
because it's a fucking horrific way to die.
I grow.
That's not what this podcast
no,
is about.
But it is odd because on the whole thing, there was a whole point where they were like, I feel like they were pushing some executions up because the drug was expiring. And I'm like, what? It's going to make you more dead?
No, because basically,
its efficacy went down?
Basically when drugs go bad, it's because they lose their efficacy. So imagine I don't know, being 50% dead. And that was the whole thing with when they were using the electric chair, is sometimes it would go horribly, horribly wrong.
In Oz, one of the guys got electrocuted and it failed, and they commuted his sentence to life after that. They said, well, you basically, did it.
So apparently, because now, sorry guys, quick tangent.
We'll get there.
Apparently, so Brian Kohberger has taken a plea, and he hasn't been sentenced yet. So we're in that limbo at the moment, but he's going to get 4 consecutive life sentences fixed. So no chance of parole. And I guess there's some legal cases going on right now about what happens if you have a heart attack and are clinically dead for a couple minutes. Does that satisfy one life sentence?
There can't possibly be any actual cases about that.
No, but I don't think there's any
you're not
on the books
clinically dead until you're dead.
Right. And so he would have to, but let's say he had 5 heart attacks and survived all of them.
Right.
Then he'd be like, I did it. I beat the system.
It is an interesting thought experiment, but I doubt anyone of note is entertaining that.
They're having legal discourse about it.
I cannot believe that, because I'm pretty sure we all know that if you are only dead once.
But this is why people get sentenced to 4 kids. Could say one gets overturned on appeal. This is why some people, they don't get sentenced to multiple life sentences. They get sentenced to 1,000 years in jail. It's okay, you you're never going to be eligible for parole, but like,
well, this just sounds like, okay, but this is the last we're going to talk about this, but this is just sounds like, okay, maybe we could word our shit a little differently to prevent stupid fucking discourse about stuff. Like, let's be honest, you can only be dead once. You cannot come back from the dead. When you are clinically dead, it means your body has parts of your body have ceased functioning. But until your brain has died, like if your brain dies, you're done.
Yeah.
Like that's the end of it. Like,
so yeah, what does it mean?
You definitely don't get to because that's also be like, I'll just hold my breath.
My phone's over there.
I'll just hold my breath. Pass out.
Does it just
and now I've commuted a life sentence.
You have your heart stops?
It means your brain function has ceased. Your body has
I'm sure people will tell us
ceased.
in the comments. No, because if your brain function cease, you're brain dead.
Right, but you can't, your body doesn't, the only way that people that are brain dead continue to live is by external intervention. No one can, you can't be brain dead and still have a heartbeat without external intervention. So when your brain dies, so too does the rest of you without intervention.
Okay, so
and then you get thrown into a giant fucking meat grinder and burned up in a warehouse with some jamokes. Tying it in.
Yeah.
Tying it in.
So in the 1980s in Los Angeles.
It was the 80s, man.
I'm going to call this the pre-Sarah Los Angeles because a lot of this took place before I was born. Like right up until we were getting to January 1987. October 1987. So by January 1987, I think they had done 25,000 cremations.
Hey.
They were in that Hesperia warehouse where they were just 100 at a time.
Well, start from the top.
All right. So let's set the scene. It's 1980s Los Angeles. You had to be there.
If you've ever seen Escape from New York or Escape to LA? What's the one with Snake Rifkin and it's this post-apocalyptic world?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's just like that.
Anyways, we were, coming off of, we were skateboarding, drained pools.
Hell yeah, dog!
Living that life. Blink-182 wasn't a thing yet. Not
Green
quite.
Day.
Not quite
none
yet.
of the stuff was around.
Yeah, but drained pools were, and skateboarding and drained pools was
hair metal was big.
Yeah, so there was this scam artist, this natural-born scammer, David Sconce, who never met a bigger victim than himself. And you didn't watch the third installment. So I'm going to fill you in. It was like, so if you're watching this podcast, listening/watching, however you take us in. If you haven't watched The Mortician yet on HBO Max, I suggest you watch it. If you are familiar with the story, because I watched the first episode with my dad because my dad, this was a huge scandal in LA. In the 80s. Yeah. My parents fully knew of this story and followed it in real time. So my dad was filling me in on what the locals were thinking about everything as it went down. The series reveals how David Sconce, who was a aspiring footballer, I don't know if he was any good, but he had grand plans to, I think, at least play college football, but he suffered some sort of injury and that took him out. So his parents, who ran the Lamb Funeral Home, it was a generational funeral, it kept getting passed down and the family kept running it. So it went from being ran by people with the last name Lamb to then someone with the last name Lamb married someone with the last name Sconce, and then they had David Sconce. So that's how that whole thing happened. Family, a very nonsensical family tree I just threw out there. But anyways, yeah. So I guess his parents, who were, they're running this funeral home, which, all of my notes say how like highly respected this funeral home was before David Sconce gets in the mix. But come to find out, I forget her, Lorianne, I don't know.
Julia.
David Sconce's mom is like kind of diabolical. So anyways, we'll get there. So his parents are like, hey man, go take a class about mortuary science and then come join the family biz.
Like you do.
So he does that. And then that sets all of this in motion. So his parents run I don't know if it's considered like a traditional funeral home, but they don't practice cremations. But on the property,
Cremations, non-practicing though.
Yeah.
Non-practicing.
Non-practicing cremator. They do the embalming, they do the burying, and they run a funeral home.
Okay.
So all the things. But on the property of this funeral home is a crematorium. Crematorium. Okay. And it wasn't in use, but it was on their property. So David comes in and he's like, hey, like, I guess like I'll start running cremations.
Sure.
And this guy's just like a natural born scam
People
artist.
burner?
And what we're going to learn as we go through this docuseries is that he is not a rule follower. He's always looking to bend the rules to maximize his profits or maximize his benefit in some way. He does this in the funeral game, cremation game, and then he'll go and do this when he's a fucking bus driver in Arizona. So anyways, we see all these family members, right, that are victims of the Lamb Funeral Home. And when we first recorded this, you and I, we kind of got into it a little bit because you were like, and you made it actually a really good point. And then I went and rewatched the series with what we discussed in mind. So I'm actually really glad we're re-recording this. Because there's this woman, she's sitting there. She has this little tin can of what is remains of who knows who, because she's a victim of the Lamb Funeral Home. So she got, hey, this is your dad, but really it's
She's a patron of the Lamb Funeral Home.
Essentially, what you said was, how much could you have loved your loved one if you're going to group on their funeral expense?
You're going to the lowest fucking bidder to get rid of your body.
And we did the conversion in the first time we recorded this. $55 in like 1980 was like a couple $200. It was like a couple $100. So okay, it's not like pennies. It's not like you were paying $5 for something that should be like $200. But you're still getting a great discount. And it's like, how, like...
Well, but here's the thing, is that...
like, maybe she couldn't afford to do more. Maybe she, I don't know.
Business, they come off as...
Funerals are very expensive.
Well,
they could
but
be
this is what I'm talking about. This is... Everyone has to do something with their loved ones' bodies. You cannot not do anything with your loved ones' bodies. So you are bent over a fucking barrel, and the funeral industry is there to expensively guide you through the most ridiculous amounts. Well, this one's it's a solid gold fucking casket. It only cost $18,000.
And I guess I had a thought, and we didn't discuss this last time, but is there no like... does the... Okay, so for a lack of a better comparison, you find like roadkill, you call animal services, they come and clean it up. If you have
the city destroys bodies that are unclaimed bodies.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
There is still a cost attributed to it that we pay for with our tax dollars.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
But the thing is, like, okay.
Is there a no cost option for someone that was like indigent?
No,
like for them to be like, my loved one died, I cannot afford any kind of
No,
to take care of.
But like the
things.
system is not designed for.
Does Medicare cover any kind of final expenses?
I don't have that information.
Okay, that would be interesting. Because the only way I would I would feel like a jerk for judging this woman is if this was her only option. Like I could come up with $50.
No, I mean, but it just like every fucking thing else, you can finance it. It costs around $700.
But this was the 80s.
No,
there
but
was no
even in
Afterpay or Klarna for.
How did people get homes? The financing existed before Klarna existed.
I know.
And it's and layaway was a thing. You know, like, I'm going to pay installments were always a thing.
Okay.
But like, you have to look at these people like you're going to the cheapest fucking place imaginable to do this. You're bent over a fucking barrel. This is an industry. It's a for-profit industry too. These are not people going out of their way to do nice things for you out of the kindness of your heart.
Certainly not David Sconce.
They take, this is any of them. They take you at your most vulnerable. And even in TV shows, I've heard the cost of a cremation with bare bones, the cheapest fucking thing imaginable. For like, we don't care, but we just want to get it done. Like $700 was like an average cost. The 80s in the early 2000s. That's how much
in 2015 my grandfather died, and we did an at-home memorial service for him. We got him cremated, and it was like $700, $600 or $700.
And so that
was like the absolute cheapest
average. So you are just regardless of circumstance, if you have a person you care about and you're the only person that can be contacted, you owe money when that person dies immediately. That's it. Which is a pretty shitty system because there's really no offset. They're going to do it. They're going to send you a bill. It's going to go to collections if you don't pay it, and then so on and so forth. And then you have the people going and selling you $200,000 caskets. That's an over-exaggeration, but there are $18,000 caskets. And they're like, but here's also, they always go, there are some more affordable options for like $3,000 or $4,000. $3,000 or $4,000 just for the box, and then the service. Thousands of dollars. Oh, well, did you pay for this package or this package? That whole system
and then paying for a spot in a cemetery could be really expensive.
Well, because you're renting a permanent spot. Like
I have no interest in that.
Unlike housing, where your mortgage and you live there and it gets passed on, your spot in the cemetery is and forever will be your spot till the cemetery. I don't know.
There's some countries where like every 100 years I heard they do.
Well,
that's smart.
It wouldn't surprise me. But like, so my thoughts on the funeral industry is, as much as they all come out saying how altruistic and we're just trying to get you through your worst, they're all a bunch of fucking money grubbing people, and they want it and they're gonna spend money.
I guess some people just have more tact than David Scott.
But it leads me into where I was coming from on the bare bones of what he was doing. I'm not forgiving any of the, the shitty ways and illegal misdemeanors.
So let's just put out what he was doing. So he was coming in at the time in the 80s, a average cremation costs around $250, something like that. He was coming in and soliciting business, so actively soliciting business, saying, I can do it for $55.
Right.
What a steal. The reason why I say there are jokes that we make, right? Like teeth whitening, like things you go on Groupon. Don't Groupon plastic surgery.
Right.
Things you wouldn't Groupon.
Yep.
I would put cremation under things I probably wouldn't Groupon.
But believe it or not, though, and this is not just a devil's, because of like, if I could find a relatively cheap option for someone maybe I didn't care so much about, I'd be like, let's go with the cheapest one. But not in this situation. Yeah.
Not your dearly departed father that you loved so much. Well, anyway. I'm side-eyeing that gal that was throughout the doc. But I mean, and if I come to find out like it was my last $55 I spent, I'm going to feel real bad. But
I feel like that would have been mentioned. It was not.
yeah. Anyways, so he's out there driving up from Santa Barbara to San Diego.
PCH,
just
baby.
throwing bodies in the back of his like Sprinter van.
Yep. So this gets bodies, solicits, is doing it in like, hey, basically, you gotta hide a body, like very scammy, right? He's going and he's getting these bodies and he's doing it as cheaply as possible.
I think at some point in the doc they said like a regular crematorium like max does like 4 cremations a day.
Right.
Even when he started out, he was doing like 10, 12, just churn and burn, man. And then he would do like 2 at a time, 3 at a time, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, this made me laugh in the doc. That we see this guy. He's like, I went and got high. I must have dozed off. And the crematorium burned down. Oops.
My bad, dog.
But David Sconce, ever the victim, ever the martyr, right? Goes, because this was his excuse. I had employees to take care of. I couldn't just go out of business.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Right.
So he finds this warehouse in Hesperia. He started a ceramics company. So, because you have to have a reason why you're burning shit. Anyways, they get found out what they're doing there because like the air quality is so bad that it's getting reported.
They get found out what they're doing there because somebody called the cops and said, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically was like, I'm smelling dead, burning bodies.
Yeah.
To which me, doing something else at work, hearing that, looked up and said, how does that guy know what bodies smell like when they're burning?
I've watched so much Dateline, and numerous people have recounted the fact that, like, you just know.
No, that guy was also burning bodies, and he didn't want somebody. He's like, I don't want this guy moving in on my body burning territory.
Well, because David was, like, offing the competition, apparently, allegedly.
Oh, yeah. No,
I mean,
so on the basis of what I was saying, and so we didn't, obviously this is on our unreleased episode, we'll say.
Yeah.
So I gave the guy a little bit of credit. I said,
well, okay, hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought. Because so what happens is I don't know if it was the FBI, the cops, like
some law enforcement
comes in and says, shut off the kiln. Or the machine.
Right.
And at the time they shut it off, there was like between 100 and 200 bodies in the kiln.
Partially burned.
Yeah. Whoa. And
there
so,
were prosthesis because canisters because it's steel. It doesn't melt.
The more you know, today I learned that prosthetics don't burn.
Well, the plastic of them would, but they're mostly if it's like a prosthetic hip, that's like steel.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, they don't burn at that temperature.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah, there was like a tub. So super gnarly stuff.
Who'd have known how many? There was so many people with prosthesis that needed to be disposed of.
Well, okay, so we're sitting there rewatching it the other night, and I finished rewatching it today. And David was like, because part of what was so shocking is that he is very unapologetic about the services he offered. Like, who cares how, if that's 50%, 75%, or 2% your dad that I returned to you.
Right.
It's a box of ash. Who gives a shit? Right?
Right.
And we had this conversation during the first time, and so we'll have it again, about how, like, various cultures, various religions have
rituals,
ceremonies, things that they do regarding when people die. And so to just say, who cares? It's like really flippant. But I do understand his sentiment. So when it came to, there was a portion of his business that he was tasked to just burn the bodies and scatter at sea.
Well, it wasn't a portion of his. There was like when you have after the cremation. How do you want your remains handled? Some people will be like, I want the bag, I want an urn. But one of the options was burial at sea.
Oh.
So it's one of those things where it was like, how do you want it done?
But the family wasn't part of it. It was like,
no, those people. I thought he said those people chose that.
No, it was like,
or it was like transients or something like that. Or,
I don't know, and that's we don't really get it explained.
Right.
But it was like, I'm gonna cremate them, and then I'm gonna dispose of their bodies. The families are not involved in that process after they hand over the body, the case, as he would say. And so in that instance, is if you just have a dead body and ultimately you're just going to scatter them all at sea, if you're burning them all together, what does it matter?
Right.
So essentially, David Sconce is discovered to be running a horrific chop shop of a crematorium. He's literally breaking bones, shoving people into kilns to do as many at one time to be as profitable as possible, because of course he is coming in way under what the going rate is for cremations of the day.
Yep.
So not only that, but it is discovered that there is like organ harvesting going on.
Yeah, there's some weird shit.
Which is where his mom and dad kind of come into play, because ultimately they go on trial and they get sentenced to like 3 years. I don't know how much time they actually served, but it was found out that his mom was like changing the contracts that people were signing with Lamb Funeral Home to include clauses that said that they agree that the funeral home could take like tissue samples. But really what they were doing was they were doing that. And then someone in one of the trials, I don't know if it was the parents' trial or one of David's trials, because he gets brought up on charges left, right, center, this guy. But someone gives testimony that they took out their loved one's heart. And so I have a question, and maybe doctors, medical people can let us know. If someone's like dead, like getting prepared to be either cremated or buried, embalmed, what have you, if you're dead, like you have not been kept to any life-sustaining machines, how good are your organs still?
Organs are toast. There's nothing.
Why would they take out his heart?
I don't have an answer for that question, and it's fucking weird. The only thing, and even in these cases, it's not even real. They can use cadaver skin and gums and stuff for grafts, like from cadavers.
Yeah.
But they have to be fucking refrigerated. You can't just take them off of a rotting meat shelf. These people are not they're being hobbled in the back of trucks.
No, they were talking about some of them were being refrigerated. So I don't know.
Right, but like...
we don't, right, we don't know.
And then like, you're telling me organ harvesting, like...
They were taking,
I sure
like,
hope nobody
corneas.
bought a black market kidney that's dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, once you're dead, your organs after a pretty short amount of time are functionally useless.
What? Like, I mean, I've seen Grey's Anatomy people, so I'm practically a doctor. When they do organ transplants, they take it from the donor, put it in a cooler, chopper it. Fingers crossed the chopper doesn't go down, because that does happen on Grey's Anatomy.
It doesn't really happen that much in real life.
Well, okay. But it's like, it's a very immediate thing.
Well,
like, you
and
take it from the donor and give it to the recipient right away.
And then in the case of a brain dead person, they do the honor walk, which is where they take the body and usually allow a large group or a small group of loved ones and hospital staff, because the hospital staff reveres because you're giving of yourself to save others. That is literally and not that the person who's brain dead can make that decision, but allowing that to happen is probably one of the most selfless things you could ever do.
I don't know if anyone's gonna want my organs, but I am an organ donor.
There was a point where I was assuming my organs were pretty toast, but now I'm pretty okay. I think my organs are good. So come a harvesting. Come on, I got a spare kidney.
Except for you, David Sconce. We don't want you anywhere near us.
I still hold to the fact that
do you have any gold fillings? Because he's gonna come and pluck your teeth.
They stopped
right
using golden fillings in the 80s.
Maybe because of this. Actually, in my notes, it says that the removal of dental gold without consent is now explicitly recognized as a felony, in part due to the notoriety of Sconce's crimes. So they were organ harvesting. They were taking people's tissues without consent. The mom was also forging people's signatures. Like this lady, and there were all these people in the doc that were like, oh, she was so nice, blah, blah, blah. And turns out that she probably was the mastermind of all of this.
I just watched this show on Netflix, Clickbait, that stars that dude from Entourage. Well, it doesn't star him. He's spoiler
Adrian
alert. He dies in the first episode, and the whole.
That's a bummer.
Well, the whole story is about his death and what happened.
He's not the dude from Entourage. He's the dude from Drive Me Crazy, starring him and Melissa Joan Hart.
Well, first of all, I love Melissa Joan Hart. Don't even just shush. Just don't even.
Jot that down.
We love Melissa Joan Hart. She had a bakery called Sweethearts in Sherman Oaks. Yep. So that was fun. That was a fun little trip down memory lane. But anyway, and so one of the, I don't want to spoil it because I think it's a relatively new show, but at some points, it's basically the super, super nice, lovable person turns out, oh, wow, like you were just kind of doing some shitty things and nobody, not the guy from Entourage, but one of the ancillary characters. But also, just a real quick note about that show. That show is I figured it out. What the fuck? No, now I figured it out. What the fuck? Every episode, it's like, okay, every episode was like, okay, it's that guy. Oh, no, wait, it's not. Oh, okay, no, it's definitely that guy because they put that guy. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It was really like, it was very interesting.
See, I can't watch shows like that because I fall asleep too often.
Oh, you would have been lost.
This is why Sister Wives works for me because it takes 2 years to
tell a story.
Yes, exactly. So that works.
How many
me.
more trees does Cody have to cut down?
Haphazardly.
Good Lord. Anyway, sorry, that was a little thing. But yes, one of those where this super innocent, everyone loves them person ends up being kind of fucking shitty. And in this it's a lot fucking shitty. In that show it was like, wow.
So the wild thing in all of this is this shocked Los Angeles, and my dad was telling me that people were like, oh my god, when this, because this was a big funeral home that people used, and it was probably somebody you knew somebody that used Lamb Funeral Home to take care of their loved one, and it was corrupt on all angles. It wasn't it's okay, my loved one was buried. Nah, because they're plucking out your teeth to get the gold, and apparently they would write on the boxes,
the toe tags.
No, they would write donor, or I forget what the other thing was. So donor would be if they were going to go try to harvest something from you.
I have no idea how that works.
What was even more shocking than what the Lamb/Sconce family was up to in Pasadena was that they were let off with relatively basically a slap on the wrist. It wasn't, so they had in the doc, they had the jury foreperson speaking, and like she was talking about like their deliberation process and kind of testimony that she remembered. And then she said, you know, we found that she was the foreperson for the parents' trial. They found them guilty, and then they got sentenced to 3 years. And they were like, that's it? Like 3 years? And someone makes the point, I think it was one of the police officers, all these people, like the Sconce / Lambs, they didn't kill anyone. I mean, that's debatable with David, but like all of these people, all of these bodies, all of these cases that they got all died in some other way. Right. So like they didn't kill anyone.
Well, and that's my whole thing on giving the guy a little bit of credit, not from being a horrible person, but like if you take this at its base level. Right? Everyone's going to die. It's expensive. This dude was plugging himself into a hole and making himself available, right?
He was doing something a lot of people would not have the
balls
to do.
It's also not a business a lot of people want to fucking be in. So it is kind of like a buyer's market in that situation. So this guy goes up and down the coast, schlepping around bodies, taking them off of people's hands of people who clearly don't give that much of a shit about these people because, how often does someone come up to you and solicit life services?
And then you brought up a good point too. The last time we tried to record this, like when they're rolling up to take the body. Are you not?
It's not a hearse.
It's not a refrigerated truck or anything.
It's got Mom's attic in it. The fucking U-Haul that they're taking people in. It's literally
like an Aerostar, like an whatever Windstar. It's like a minivan. He drives like a little bit bigger than a minivan.
And so I'm like, so this woman at the beginning is the only woman that comes on the documentary, to my knowledge, that was directly affected by it.
Yeah, it was her
And
dad.
I almost feel like she just. They couldn't get anyone else because no one probably like cared that much because they didn't care that much about the people they were giving. When he was talking about the at sea burials, which was new information for me before. So when we talked about last time, I hadn't known that. It even spoke more to my point where he's like, I'm burying 40 or 50 bodies at sea because that's what the thing is. Who gives a shit if they're all mixed together? They're being dumped in the ocean anyway.
Right.
So
and it's just like
take it at its basis level. And again, I'm not forgiving it, but this is the devil's advocate point that I was making. I'm on the basis level. He was filling a need for people.
Yeah. And if you are a person who believes that once the soul leaves the body, once you are dead, your shell is your shell. If you are someone who believes like that, then sure, like who cares how, like this is now right. I'm giving you ash. It's not your father's body back.
But it's a symbol.
It's a symbol. Sure. But I think what David Sconce doesn't realize is that not all people think the way he does. And some people care very deeply about the way you treat
True,
dead
but that's
people.
To my point was that if you cared that much about how your family's remains were being handled, you would have a direct say in what was happening to them.
I'm curious because was word of mouth. So, I mean, there wasn't anything like Google reviews for people to be like, oh, I don't know. This was like a really sketchy situation with how they handled my XYZ loved one's remains. But wouldn't like word of mouth get around that this is like really sketchy?
Well, but that's the thing. I don't think I really think a majority of the living people
came to like come get some like meth addict came to come pick up your dad.
I just think that a majority of the people who partook in this service, and a reason we don't hear from anyone else who was like, oh my God, it happened. My family, my loved one. It's because I think a lot of these people were just happy to get these bodies off their hands without having to pay this, more money. Like, hey, here's $55. Great, let's go. Like,
what happens if a loved one dies and you can't afford to like do anything about it.
I think you just
Like,
incur the bill and you
happened?
send them a couple bucks.
I
when
know
you
that
can,
like prisons have like
you have to pay on the way out. Yeah.
But they have like cemeteries for like unclaimed bodies.
Right, yeah.
But so I know that happens.
Yeah, and it's probably just a lot of tax.
It's like
dollars.
what happens at hospitals if someone dies and
unclaimed
a person
bodies
can't do anything about it.
I think unclaimed bodies, for the most part, if they are completely unclaimed, they don't just sit around indefinitely. There's overcrowding everywhere. They probably just get disposed of, and the savings are passed along to either hospitals, probably to insurance, and then insurance ups their rates to cover for it. And like the city or in like transient homicides and stuff like that probably just goes into tax bills and stuff like that. But like when you or I would lose someone, we're responsible for it, and so they know who to bill. So like they're going to send you a bill, and then it's going to be handled like any other bill. Like if there's someone that can be billed, and I'm speaking I'm speculating, but if there's somebody that can be billed, they're going to bill them. Now, whether they're probably not going to stop you from getting a mortgage because of it, but like it's going to go on your credit report.
So unfortunately, for a lot of people, the Lamb Sconce family didn't really suffer any major punishment because of all this. I mean, they effectively went out of business, but I think the parents, they did serve some jail time. They were sentenced to 3 years. I'm not sure exactly how much jail time they actually served. And I'm not sure on the original charge how much time David Sconce actually served.
David went to jail, then he got out.
He got out.
Then he went to jail again.
No. Okay, so then I don't know if the whole family moves to Arizona, but at least he moves to Arizona and is now a bus driver. But this is the thing. At the end of the 3rd episode, he's talking about how like, oh, if I had never gotten injured playing football and I had like stayed on that path, like I could have this never would have happened, blah, blah, blah.
Go be a phys ed teacher.
It's really like, since I did get injured playing football, this is still really my parents' fault because they pushed me into taking that mortuary science class when really I wanted to join like the Navy or the Army or something. So really it's like my parents' fault. But no, David, this is a you problem because you were the one who decided to offer cremation services to go because you legitimately on the property, you had this building.
Yep.
So, I mean, why not?
Waste not, want not.
And your family is in a funeral business, so that makes sense.
I'm saying there's a part of it that just says he's industrious, but he's also awful.
But then you immediately seek to get rich quick, maximize profit, try to work the system in your favor, try to do the most
for the least.
Yeah. And then you do that in Arizona with this. You are a bus driver, and the way
isn't a bus driver a government job?
Well, the way it's told in the story is he was given stacks of like coupons that were worth like $20 or something, and he started making his own. So then,
what was that movie with the chick Kristen Bell was in it, where they had a whole ring of like selling fake coupons?
Oh,
and
and
it was based on a true story.
Yeah,
I forget what it was called, but they made a shit ton of real money, and then they got caught, I guess.
Yeah. Well, okay, so he goes back to jail for a period of time, and then he gets released again. And it's like, this guy's so young, fucking his life up, that he keeps going to jail, getting out, going to jail, getting out.
He got something I've never fucking heard of in my life. He got he's on parole for life.
Lifelong probation.
So probation for life. So I've heard of, you get 2 years probe and then you're good to go. And on probation, you can't drink, you can't consort
usually parole or probation, and there is a difference, but I don't know what it is
Thank
at the
you
moment.
for clarifying and then not clarifying.
But usually it's that period when
Yeah.
you're out is to finish out whatever you were sentenced to. So say you were sentenced to 5 years, but you served 2.
Right.
Then you'd be on parole or probation for 3 years.
Sure.
Maybe parole. Probation might be something else. But anyways, he's released on lifelong probation is what I have here in my notes. Maybe I
It's all good.
wrote that down wrong. I don't know. But this dumbass, because everybody knows what is the one thing you cannot do if you're a felon.
Have a gun.
Exactly.
Or vote.
So well, actually, eventually you can get your
Really?
right to vote back in some instances.
Okay.
In some
I thought that was
instances.
pretty much, you know what? You lost it.
No, you can't vote while you're incarcerated.
Got it. Well,
I don't know how all of that works.
Anyways.
Don't quote me on that.
quote her.
She can't even say crematorium.
Cookies and crematorium.
Oh, yikes.
It's like a like a Wheel of Fortune puzzle, like a
Yeah.
this and that. Cookies and crematorium.
Oh my God. That's
Let's call
fucked
that
up.
some morbid humor.
That's fucked up. Not as fucked up as this story though. So I mean, at least there's that. At
I'm
least
always
there's
a little better than the
So
worst.
this dumbass, because they show us in the 3rd episode, this guy is like not checking in with his parole officer and just doing dumb ass shit like the bus coupon thing to just, he's never really doing anything major, but he's just a freaking nuisance. He's like that fly of society that you just want to, just like, you're so fucking annoying.
It is, well,
Anyways,
there's,
so-
in any number of jobs I've worked over the years, there's a certain point where after working there long enough and you don't feel fulfilled, you find a way to get away with the most amount of shit while doing the least or amount of work. Like, how much can I get away with without getting fired? Yeah. Most people get to that point in a lot of dead-end jobs, of which I've worked 100,000 of them. Like, this guy almost seems to, like, go above and beyond.
Well, if life was his dead-end job, he finally...
Right, he figured it out.
He finally figured it out when, in 2012, they got him on illegally handling firearms. He claims someone... like gave him a gun or something.
I didn't inhale.
Right. But they say that he stole a gun in one state and tried to sell it to someone else in another state. That
That doesn't
go
sound...
straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And boom, he's there for 10 years. 10 years.
But he's out now, right?
Well, yeah, and then that's where we pick up with
Right.
him. He's
Because I'm like, this guy keeps getting out of jail.
No, now he's an old man.
But
now he's
but
an old man.
Who gets that many fucking chances? Dude?
I know.
Like-
And what's gnarly and sad is that so he recounts like all like his grandparents dying and then his dad dies.
And he didn't get a chance to jam him into a cremation machine, huh?
As soon as his dad dies, his mom like turns on him, like won't talk to him. He says that he has been abandoned, that he has no family, even though his like ex-wife was filmed for this doc. But
They all got paid, so
they wanted the mom, because the mom's still alive. They wanted her to give her take, and she they were showing like their email correspondence. She was like threatening to sue, so they were like, okay, guess not. Guess she's not going to participate. But like, I don't know. To wrap up, the Mortician, David Sconce, man. On the one hand,
be better. Be better.
Do better. Nobody wants. I really felt when the jury foreperson was talking about the person giving testimony about how their family member's heart was removed. Like that's just like so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
Well, and the cremation mafia, which we didn't even talk about, and it doesn't need to go into it. Like all the stuff where it's like, he hired thugs to do like shit, and it's just like, just stop.
At the very end of the doc, the guy that was interviewed that was like in shadow, so we didn't see his face. They asked him, "So would you do it again?" And he like thinks for a second.
I'll probably do it again.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know if David ever wants to get the band back together. Like, sure, I'd give it another go. And I was
that's like asking the Who if they're gonna do another farewell tour. You gonna do another one? Elton, you feel like you're doing another tour?
I was like, I will. All right.
That guy's a fucking weirdo. But I mean, there's a part of me, like I said, that was just like, yep. I'm like, you are feeling a certain need that's out there, but you're doing it in probably the shittiest fucking way imaginable.
I mean, I felt for the guy who was telling us about his days just driving the van up and down PCH.
No
well,
AC.
I'm assuming PCH.
Yeah.
But just collecting bodies on bodies on bodies. And again, so maybe this is like, would that be a red flag to you that this guy who doesn't seem medically trained or anything just comes to like heave your father over his shoulder and like chuck him in the back of a van that has no refrigeration, no air conditioning. And
well, you would have to.
That the crematorium is located in Pasadena, and you're up in Santa Barbara. That's gonna take like 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, you also have to look at how often does one interact with a mortician of any kind? Not very. So I guess you would kind of have to say some of these people could have easily been persuaded by low prices and would have no frame of reference to understand like what a legitimate business person would be. Because unlike a doctor that we see every 6 months or whenever we need to, we know what doctor decorum is going to be. We know what like police decorum is going to be. We interact with these things on a regular basis. People only interact with morticians when someone around them dies, and if that, like rarely.
Yeah.
So like on that level, I could see people being taken in by like a dude who's just offering a discount service to help you out of your jam. But in reality, like, do a little bit of research. Like, just a little bit.
Well, I mean, also though, it was the 80s, man. It was the 80s, man.
If 80s movies are anything to tell me about it, then that was
like
just every day.
You wouldn't be able to like give it a quick goog or something.
And 1980s Van Nuys, bodies dropping left and right.
Well,
dude.
the fact that like he could be doing hundreds at a time just speaks to 1980s Los Angeles.
Let's remember. Oh, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We got to go. We got kids. Got one wants to hang out. The other one's asleep. Better stay that way, boy. Stay asleep, please. He gets up.
At some point, he will join the party.
He'll get up. But we got to go. We got to get going. Got to do other things. Got to get out of here. Got people to see. Got places to go. Got to go play some video games, maybe. But head on over to the website, www.level42studios.com, where you can see our entire body of work, among other things. Head over to the contacts page. Feel free to fill out that form with a question, comment, concern, or podcast topic, and we will address them all. I will get to the sexiest man in Winnipeg. I'm building. It's going to be our most popular fucking episode because we're going to get to it. It's going to be, they finally fucking did it. I swear to God. You'll get there. Find us on all the social medias. Do mostly no harm. Sarah, Reality Squad. Sarah Spills, new episode of that coming out soon or today.
No, one came out yesterday. Yeah.
And other than
so 2 days ago by the time
2 days ago or many days ago. Could be years ago. Could be hundreds of thousands of years ago. This could be in the lexicon. Who the fuck knows, man?
Turn notifications on.
Just fucking go, bro. Well, we gotta go. I gotta go. Anyways, as always,
do mostly
no harm.
Bye, guys.